Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the ARC Digital Transformation Viewpoints podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things related to digital transformation in energy, industrial, and critical infrastructure applications. The podcast is the creation of the ARC Advisory Group Digital Transformation Practice. ARC advises leading companies on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business. To engage further, please like and share our podcasts or reach out directly on Twitter at ARC_advisory, or please go to the website at www.arcweb.com. Sustainability and ESG are front and center for nearly every industrial organization. And while there is evidence and effort to focus on decarbonization and CO2 reduction across all industries, for those who make the chemicals and materials science, such as bulk chemicals, specialty chemicals, and polymers, there are emerging business challenges in what is called the circular economy. The circular economy aims to eliminate the extraction of new raw materials and design a circular life cycle, with each step in that process being fully integrated. Waste is systematically eliminated and emissions are reduced throughout the entire process by efficiency gains and with the incorporation of renewables. Digital capabilities are essential. I'm Peter Reynolds, Senior Analyst, and this is the Digital Transformation Viewpoints podcast brought to you by ARC Advisory Group. In each episode, we'll ask the big questions of how industry is adopting emerging technologies and practices for sustainable manufacturing, from better operational and engineering processes to blockchain. Today, our focus is trends in the chemical industry, sustainable solutions, and innovations. Here with me today is Yasmine McColl, Global Business Development Leader for the Chemical Segment, and Ramki Sethuraman, Global Solutions Architect, Chemical Segment with Schneider Electric.
Thanks for having me today, Peter.
So, why does Schneider Electric think sustainability is a hot topic?
Well, sustainability has been a hot topic for many major chemical companies in the last few years. A lot of our clients, especially in the chemical space, have made promises to the market for sustainability goals to reduce plastic waste by investing in circular economy projects, manage climate change by reducing their CO2 emissions, and help society by diversity and inclusion initiatives. Plastic recycling, which relates to circular economy, is one of the areas that we see tremendous growth, especially in North America, Asia, and Far East. The total investment in this segment, believe it or not, is 51% CAGR between now and 2025.
Well, okay. So that's interesting. So let's talk about some themes within that scope of sustainability. And one theme is the circular economy. We often refer to content developed by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and that is the circular economy system diagram, or also known as the butterfly diagram. And that illustrates a continuous flow of materials in the circular economy, as one might expect. And there are two main cycles. One is the technical cycle, and the biological cycle is the other. So in the technical cycle, products and materials are kept in circulation through processes such as reuse or repair or remanufacturing or recycling. And in the biological cycle, the nutrients from biodegradable materials are returned to the earth to regenerate in nature. So we're going to focus more on the technical cycle here. So for Schneider Electric, how do you define the circular economy for your industry segments?
So the chemical industry as a segment includes companies that produce industrial chemicals. They convert raw material mostly from crude natural gas, metals, and minerals into different types of products like plastics. For example, plastic recycling being part of the circular economy is a subsegment for us at Schneider Electric. By using plastic as a feedstock or remanufacturing, recycling, and reducing emission is a sustainability goal for a lot of our clients, which aligns pretty well for Schneider Electric's sustainability goals.
Just to add to what Yasmine just mentioned, the concept of circularity has actually existed in several forms. We all know, we're all familiar with, you pick up a bottle of a soft drink, you see symbols about, recycling, and there are other places where you might see, this reduce, reuse, recycle. So the concept's been there for a while, but what we're talking about as a circular economy is to be able to recycle at an industrial scale. If you look at these manufacturing plants, I mean, they are what I would say hungry for raw materials. If you need to be able to feed them with recycled material, I mean, the ability to recycle needs to scale up, right? So effectively, the part of the circular economy we're talking about is to take an advanced chemical, which is maybe at the end of its life, and convert it to something that becomes the starting point, for a new product, right? So.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about products, because I think it relates to some of the challenges that we see in the industry. So we look at complex supply chains, lack of proven technologies, or inconsistent regulatory policies, or even the lack of viability. These are common challenges that we see today. So what do you think has been the case today that you see with your customers?
Yeah, that's a good question, Peter. I mean, a lot of the challenges you talk about definitely apply, in the chemical industry. So I'm going to pick maybe a couple of them, that have seen a lot of focus in the recent years, and one of them's very specific for the circular economy. So let's talk about maybe supply chains, right? So there's a couple of maybe factors that we want to talk about. One that is a few that are longer term, whereas a few factors that are a little more near term. So if we look at the Western world, you're looking at factories that have relatively aging infrastructure. The workforce demographics is going through a generational change, and over a period of time, a lot of the production has actually been shifting from the West to the East. For example, if we look at China today, China actually accounts for 50% of the global investment in chemicals. So already 50%, just one country to represent for the globe, right? So then when we come to the eastern part of the world, their challenges are a little different, right? So they're talking about setting up newer plants. So you need to be able to skill the resources in the right way. So with these with these longer term changes, you throw in a pandemic, or you throw in, complexities like the geopolitical tensions, they really impact, the complexity or they add to the complexity of the supply chain. One unique aspect, that we need to consider with the circular economy is we're trying to recycle used material, right? So, and the users are pretty much spread all over the world. So bringing that material together and then recycling it itself, is a complexity in the supply chain that needs to be addressed, right? So, sorry, that's a long topic to talk about, but maybe I'll talk about one other topic, which is around lack of proven technologies. So when we talk about plastic recycling or any kind of a recycling technology at industrial scale, we are developing new technologies now. So they actually need a lot of attention to nurture these technologies and develop them, to go up to the scale that we need in the circular economy. Those are just a little bit of elaboration maybe about some of the challenges.
Yeah, Yasmine, do you have any further comments on that?
Yeah, actually I do. I want to mention that Schneider Electric, we've been working on this topic for quite some time. We have strategic partners like Aviva. We developed EcoStruxure Power and Process, which is EP&P in short, as a solution to digitally unify power and process, that data designed to generate one-step improvements to the full life cycle of operation. What I'm saying is by applying these new technologies to, like, for example, like Ramki was saying, just supply chain and circular economy technologies, our customers and partners can really improve efficiencies and reliabilities for their plants and ultimately increase their bottom line. So I just want to mention that there's been a lot of progress on the technology side that we think we should be able to add value to the industries.
Okay, let's switch to talk about the important initiatives in supporting the circular economy. Some of those are designing for recyclability or chemical or mechanical recycling, or even the ability to design out waste or greenhouse gas, or even efficient production and energy usage, incorporation of renewals. All these things are really important. So where do you see the greatest benefits for those industrial companies, and how is this unfolding?
Well, maybe I can first break down ESG, and then we can take it a little bit further after that. ESG has been around. The topic of ESG has been around for a few years now. It's sustainability goals, environmental, social, and governance for our major industries, which includes chemicals. Sustainability at the highest level means fulfilling the needs of our current generations without compromising the future generations, while we're ensuring we have economic growth and environmental care and social well-being. For chemical industry sectors, this challenge impacts the entire value chain, which includes raw material, manufacturing products, and components and consumption by consumers and disposals. So it is really important that we have collaboration across various value chain. It's very necessary to achieve, our sustainability goals. For example, for a successful circular economy project like a plastic recycling, this can also bring innovations and technologies and create new jobs. So by implementing maybe this plastic recycling projects, as we're talking about it, and reusing plastic as a feedstock, we can address climate change, lower CO2, and ultimately reduce our dependency to fossil fuels.
And I want to talk about digital capabilities. I think this is important. You already mentioned developing with your strategic partner Aviva and the EcoStruxure Power and Process. So in terms of the digital capabilities, the majority of chemical and material science companies, they've made public statements about looking toward digital technologies as a means to advance circular economy initiatives. So can you provide some examples and use cases of how Schneider Electric is helping in this area?
Yeah, as you pointed out, Peter, I mean, there's a lot of new technology, that is being developed in this space around circular economy. So from the Aviva software tool set, simulation tools are best suited to work with new processes, support any kind of scale up or design, and even engineering for these new technologies, right? So you can actually take the early design and deploy it into maybe a digital twin that grows all the way from engineering through procurement through construction, right? So engineering typically is a multidiscipline process that's iterative, and you want to add information into the digital twin as it grows through, right? So as you go through commissioning and operations, you're going to have information that comes from the process, through maybe electrical systems, through automation components. So you need to be able to manage this information as well. And another source of information is IIoT devices that can be publishing to maybe on-premise systems or to cloud systems. So ultimately, you're going to be able to, you want to be able to bring information that is available maybe in a digital twin or in your, process, electrical automation systems, or in any of your analytical tools, right, that perform analytics using these data and bring it all to a central location so that it's accessible to your operators. So you're talking about some kind of a connected worker or an empowered worker, right? So I'm just kind of giving you like a quick overview of maybe digital technologies that will need to come together to kind of help the operators in this new circular economy space, to take operations forward.
Okay, so we're coming to the close of this podcast. Do you have any last thoughts for our audience today?
So we believe that energy, automation, and software, they form a triad around any physical operating asset. So they are key to the industry of the future. So working on these components together is imperative for any chemical company that's striving towards their sustainability goals.
And maybe I can add also that we started at Schneider Electric our sustainability journey a long time ago, maybe a decade ago, even longer. And we were #1 sustainable company in 2021, which tells you a lot about our company and the way we run our business and the technologies that we have implemented for ourselves and our clients and our partners in industry. So I encourage the people listening in to look into Schneider Electric and help us bring you closer to your sustainability goals. We've have a pretty good handle on Scope 1 and Scope 2 emission. We think we can bring your carbon footprint down by applying some of the technologies that we've talked about earlier, but we're very excited. This is an exciting time to be in the space right now and help the industries push forward.
Great insights. Thank you, Yasmine and Ramki. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thanks to Yasmine McColl, Global Business Development Leader, and Ramki Sethuraman, Global Solutions Architect, Chemicals Segment with Schneider Electric. For more information and insights on this topic or to learn best practices to accelerate transformation, please go to the ARC Advisory Group website at www.arcweb.com. Please do subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. And while you're there, leave us a review. In the meantime, from Peter Reynolds, thank you for listening and goodbye.